everyone. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're watching the GSL Talk Show. Tonight, we're chatting with Nuhr Hermes, and if you want some motivation, then stay tuned.
But I'm not the type of girl that goes. Yeah, it's a miracle, baby. Wishing I would have a one night affair.
Welcome back to the GSL Talk Show. As you can see, I am here with brother Nuhr
Yeah,
Hermes.
that's right.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, dear. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here today.
Yes. Welcome to the GSL Talk Show, man. So, tell us where you are and a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am currently in Manila, in the Philippines. I got sort of say trapped here just before COVID happened. I lived in Bali with my older brother. We
Mm,
started a consulting business together based on his experience. I was just like the workhorse doing all the back end stuff. And we had a client who was paying us a respectable amount for a 3 months gig. So we went
mm,
over here, helped him build up his brand for his little online shop, and then the COVID came, and then we couldn't go back to wonderful Bali.
mm,
Um, and then we were sitting there, and when you start up a business like that, it's basically just two guys and two laptops. So we were just doing all that we could to serve the good people that had invested with us. And before we knew it, COVID was over, and then I had started meeting friends, and you were finding your life after COVID, and
mm,
one thing led to another. 4 years has gone by. Now I have a beautiful wife, and we have a baby on the way, 6 months
mm.
old, or 6 months in the oven, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a baby boy. I'm considering calling him Tyson.
Mm,
Tyson. Yeah, because I went for a long. The day that I found out that there is a boy, I
mhm.
decided to go for a 60-mile run, 100-kilometer run,
Okay.
and it took me around 19 hours. It was no preparation. It was just with some $10 running shoes, a backpack, and I just ran. And during that, I devoted that run for him.
Mm,
Let it be known, I do those type of stunts sometimes. I like to challenge myself without much preparation. It
mm,
fortifies your mind. I am what you call a mindset coach, but difference between me and many others is I really live that shit. I take
mm,
fights without preparation. I believe that's where you really meet yourself, and that's where the real battle needs to be won, where
mm,
the rings of fire is all around you, and that's where you need to show up for yourself. That's what I keep preaching to people.
mm,
With all respect to Christianity, I do consider myself at this point, because I found God recently in my
mm,
life, and it came out of cocaine addiction, alcohol abuse, living a very toxic life.
mm,
And I found out that there's an actual hell where we live on this earth, that you can actually find it. You can tune into that frequency. And through
mm,
that, I realized, well, if this much misery exists, goodness exists as well. Benevolence, the divine
mm,
creation of things. So,
mhm,
what I'm saying that just because what I found myself. I committed to a life of sobriety,
mm,
and I repented for myself, but also for the higher divine creation through hard workouts. Like I would work out 2 to 3 months. That's how I really restored love and honor and self-respect for myself, with like four to
mhm,
six hours workout a day. It would be like lifting weights, going into 2 hours cardio, doing it all in like 2 to 3,000 calories deficit. And
mm,
some people might make it sound like, well, that just sounds, but to me, working out is a deeply, deeply spiritual thing. It's a it's a yogic practice of some sort. It's confronting yourself. It's figuring out exactly where you are, putting your insecurities at rest, putting your ego in check, and doing the work that you are trying to avoid. And in
Mm.
my belief, I think that when we talk about the devil and we talk about God, I also believe that there's some part of it that's in ourselves. And that means that the body is in some ways separated between body and its impulses of survival, of lust, right? The
Mhm.
Hindus talks about the chakras in the lower part, and God is everything above, which
Mm.
is the intuition, the courage, the love, the gratitude, the joy. And the funny thing about human nature is that we by default fall into negativity. And not to cast any judgment on it, that's just my, at least my experience and what I see around me, even with my wife. That's why I encourage her to have a protocol of alignment every morning. Is that if you don't put some attention on self-care, on elevating your state, you become very easy. Like if you don't maintain the being that you are,
Mm.
very easily you succumb to all these negative thoughts that just keeps running in our minds, you know.
Mhm.
So 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 what I found was in the when I really had established this new identity with myself. And some might say, well, that 3 4 months, that's not long. No, but man, I worked out as if it was a year. What people do in a year, I crammed into 3 to 4 months. Physical change as well. I lost a lot of kilos, body fat percentage changed, my mindset totally changed by
Mm.
committing to really rare habits of waking up early and doing hard shit day in, day out, till I really look myself in the eye and say, I respect that man.
Mm.
I, because on top of that, stood by my own word to myself, which was used to be the hardest thing for me as an addict was I don't want to do it, but then you keep doing it. And I use
Mhm.
that parallel a lot to people in general with their normal civilian lives. They might not have cocaine addictions or stuff like that, but sticking to your word is so fudging important
Mhm.
because if you do not do that,
Mm.
you let the demons come in. And but not even that, you allow to self erode on your own self belief and self trust. Imagine
Mm.
if you have a person next to you that counts on you. How do you think they're going to view you if you say something, I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it? What do you think is going to happen in that relationship? And it's no difference. There's no difference to your own self.
Mm.
Example with my wife, she's pregnant. So it's limited how much you can sort of say expect from a woman who's building a new life inside you, right?
Mhm.
But and this is not to blast her, she's grown so much from this experience. She had a habit of saying that she would do things and then not quite do it.
Mhm.
And I had to have a tough conversation with her and say, listen, I don't mind for you to simply be a beautiful flower, a, a lazy pregnant woman. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. But what I
Mm.
can't stand by and watch is you say something and then you
Mm.
don't do anything about it.
Mm.
Because then you're not, and also, like, what are you teaching our son while he's in your womb?
Mm.
Some
Mm.
people might say I'm taking things to an extreme, but to me, this feels true. And if it doesn't feel like, I think Jesus also says something about, there's a quote I heard the other day where someone has a dirty hand or something and he's touching food and he eats it, and someone comments on it, oh, don't eat that because it's dirty. And he says, it's not about what you put in, it's what comes out, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Meaning, to me, the way I understand it, at least, is what you foster inside. What character are you inside?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but yeah, that's me. I preach the gospel of fitness and physical and mental growth, and
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. Man, first of all, man, I know people that watch GSL, y'all probably like, here she go again. She about to say this again. But it's just so amazing to me how God keeps putting like people like you in my life where y'all are speaking to certain stuff that is happening to me like in real time. And knowing that this is going to come out in months later, that is probably going to touch somebody else in there at their particular time too. So
Absolutely.
for me, it always just blows my mind because a lot of the things that you just shared and said is like things that has been on my heart and mind as well. And I've been kind of struggling with, especially when it comes to like dealing with other people, because I'm like, Lord, okay, I know what you took me through. I know the journey. I want to share it, whatever the case may be. But I feel like there's been people around me that don't receive it. But they say they want, you know what I'm saying, all the things, you know, and it's been so frustrating. And I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, people got free will out here. Like, you know, like I can't make anybody do anything. So I've been trying to find balance with that. But that's a whole nother conversation. Honestly, a lot of the things you just shared, we
No,
could be here.
I think we should touch on that because I
Yeah.
experienced it too.
Okay.
The thing about it is when it comes to you and changing yourself or addressing something as benign and fudging simple as changing your body
Mm,
to be a healthy body,
mm,
people don't want to do that because it's the ego doesn't want that because you're literally voluntarily going to discomfort. But here's the thing, when people don't do the work, they think it's no, but I choose to not do it, it's about me. But it's not about you, it's
mm,
about the people that you potentially could have touched and helped and inspired. And I saw that firsthand in my DMs doing my work. There's two guys. One is like a leader type, still like pudgy and got shit to do. We all got work to do with ourselves. And the other guy is kind of a bit of a follower. I talked with the first guy, and what did he decide to do? He tried to like meet me head on with some ego and blah blah blah. And I'm just telling him, man, what the fuck? What are you expecting me to do? Sit here and talk you into change, or you grabbing those nuts between your legs and step forward towards risk and change your life now?
mm, mm-hmm.
Not a week goes by, and a friend of his in that same friend group, in like independently, contacts me through my content and says, "Man, you inspire me so much. I'm in a rut. I'm suffering. I'm doing these drugs. I'm drinking this alcohol, and
Mm,
all from the outside just looks like a genuine scrub, like a normal scrub kind of guy. Nothing really sticking out, but the man is suffering. The
mm-hmm.
man is miserable. That first guy, had he taken a had he done or taken an action, taken a leap to change
Mm,
himself,
mm,
most likely that would have affected the other guy.
mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And this
mm-hmm.
scenario goes on and on and on and on. And I'm pretty sure there's even more extreme, horrible examples of this where one might be even suicidal. You don't know who's looking at you. You don't,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this
Mm-hmm.
internet connected world. You don't know who not might not even like that look at you, but just sees you from afar on your feet, and your action has a direct positive impact on that person.
Mm,
That also means that not doing the action is not a neutral. It's not. It's a detriment because you could
mm,
have made that possibility happen. And I see it for myself on my phone. You don't know how many people, like when I talk to them, yeah, I'm following on the sideline and da da da. And I got a message like a woman, Korean woman, decided to fucking go like what's it called when you not promote yourself, but like depromote herself to live a more simple life
mm,
for her child and her husband to be more present there and get
mm-hmm,
back to getting in shape. Just
mm,
by me preaching my stuff, talking about all these different things that we try to pursue to achieve some inner peace is nonsense. When you can achieve inner peace by facing yourself in a strenuous workout on a continuous basis. Try to do it for 2 weeks. Try to do it right now. Try to do 100 burpees and see how you feel with yourself. Now,
mm,
try to do that continuously over a week or 2 weeks' time. You will literally lift your frequency to a higher baseline.
Mm.
So you don't need all that. I need a house. I need this car. I need these dresses and this wardrobe. I need these friends to be jealous of me, also that I can feel. I like that's how that even I thought like that. I need this, and that, and this and this, and then people get there, and what happens? Extremely depressive because they
Still not.
realize
Yeah.
I get inner peace on a daily basis. And I'm not saying that sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes the demons are still trying to, but
Yeah.
luckily I got my habits, my construct that I don't negotiate with. If God willing, he puts rapture on this earth, I will still do my morning burpees. I
Mm.
will still do my habit. That's the only thing I have. That's the only thing you really have when you think about it. It's your commitment and your word that you said to yourself. You don't have
Mm.
anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. I mean, honestly, people that follow me on this platform, they know that one of the things that I've established in my life, I guess my version of what you are doing is what I call my daily inspiration. With the daily inspiration to doing the juice on the show, it holds me accountable to get up in the morning. I get up in the morning, I study, pretty much study the Bible and whatnot, and then I share whatever I study in the morning. And I've seen how much that's changed my life. Not only it created this platform to be where it is today, but then also the people that I've met around the world. I wouldn't be talking to you if I hadn't
Yeah.
said I'm gonna, do this thing and stay committed to it. Like, and I know that I've been kind of slacking in a way where I used to try to be very intentional about getting it done before 6 a.m. But now I'm more so like, if it gets out by noon, whatever. But my whole thing is still the whole thing about doing it has been like this thing where I think it's like you said, it's the holding me accountable. It's also me sharing who knows what impact it's going to have on those people that actually do watch and listen every day.
Yeah.
And then it just goes on and on like that. So I mean, I think when I listen to you, I feel like I guess that's where we kind of, I guess, parallel in a way where it's like, okay, you're doing it through fitness and exercise. I'm doing it through Bible study and things of that nature. But um either way is it's something to it. Like it's being like you said, a commitment to yourself to do it. Like I said, April 1st, 2020, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this. And
Yeah.
so ever since then, I've been getting up and doing it for the most
Yeah.
part. I mean, I've had some breaks. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I did it every single day. But what I committed to do, I've been doing it, and I would say like 90% of the time, and I've seen the impact that it's had. And so yeah, it's about that being accountable to yourself and what you say you're going to do. Are you going to get up and write a blog? Are you going to get whatever it is? It's important to do, like you just said, what you committed to do. And
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I
like
see the impact. Obviously, you've seen some impact in yours as well.
100% to me. I'm not trying to flag you or anything, but like people, they go to temples, they do all sorts of weird stuff to reach some type of enlightenment, right? But when
Mm-hmm.
you actually think about it, if you just start with the basics are extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it with yourself. If we take that as an example, I commit to waking up and then I go I study the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is an honest, cool task to do. But imagine how much like the difficulty level of it becomes when it's like, okay, now you did it for X amount of time, you had 90% show up rate, you did it at the time that you wanted, right? Then watch what happens when we start making it a little bit more measurable in terms of we do it at this time.
Mm-hmm.
We do, and it doesn't even need to be a high volume of pages. It could be one page, but just the precision of what you say you're gonna do and then you're gonna do. That's what I talk about. Is what you're exercising there is power.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you did is power to me is you say something and then it happens,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, I will wake up at this time, I will open the book, I will read one page. And if that becomes like your sole intention, your sole purpose, you will see what comes lurking in the dark to try to put you away from such a simple task. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
you facing yourself and you overcoming that. That's like the first layer of power. You've already done some work and you've laid a brick, right?
Mhm.
But what I say is like instead of going for another total different brick and try to put it on, just do the exact same process, but now you just do it in a like it's like it's the
Mm.
same life, it's the same thing you're doing over and over again, but you just the awareness of how you do it just increases. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I know it
I,
sounds a little bit
no,
airy, but
no, I get you because my thing is again, like I said, I have kind of at least recently I've kind of fallen short and been like, oh, instead of being intentional about getting it out, for example, before 6, which I really was like back 2020, I was like, it's gonna be out before 6, da 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 da. Now I'm being more, which I do feel like is a spirit led thing. So I've been kind of going back and forth about how much of that, but still, I mean, I have been a little bit more lax or a little bit more free flowing when it comes to okay, when is it going to get out now? Um, so I see what you're saying about like, I mean, and I have well, one, I've seen the impact because again, we wouldn't be here sitting here talking today if I didn't do that first
yeah,
step.
yeah,
Two, again, amazing people around the world, and y'all that I've talked to has been cool and amazing.
yeah,
Sharing every day. I do
yeah,
have a
yeah.
few people that kind of comment and say, hey, almost every day that they're tuning in. And so that's something again that would
That's so
not have been
powerful,
there.
isn't it?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It would not have been there if I never got up that first day. You know what I'm saying?
no,
So
exactly.
and I don't know what all else is being, what all other impact is happening, but I feel like another thing that I've been going through right now, which I know we got so many amazing things to talk about with you. I'll
No,
just share this
no,
part unless you want to
I want to
continue.
hear yours too.
You want to hear my stuff? Well, basically, like I feel like, and I feel like I'm tired of talking about, it, but since all last year was like this amazing thing. Like it was just I called it Abundance 2023 because there was just so many amazing things happening back to back, right? And then all of a sudden, like Christmas Eve, I got in this hit and run accident on my way to
Oh,
church and work because I work at the church or whatever. On my way there, I got in this hit and run accident, and I feel like ever since then there was like all just issues, like one thing on another, pow, pow, pow. And I know it's spiritual attack. Like I know it's like you just said, like you'll see what's coming. Like when you be consistent and see and you keep doing the same thing or whatever the case may be, you'll start to see like what's going to try to stop you. And so,
yeah.
and that's been happening a lot lately. And I'm like, okay, I guess
Mm.
this is just my season of like pruning or whatever it is. The Lord wants to take me to another level, whatever it is. But it's been a struggle because of course it's trials and tribulations. It's like stuff coming your way on different ends and stuff. But
Mm.
I know as I was studying this morning, I was talking about it on Juice that, that I need to start shifting my focus to like soon as those things happen, start rejoicing that it's happening because that's in the Bible that talks about like again, you're pretty much on the right path. Right? All the other people had to deal with the same type of thing. And so if God sees me worthy to suffer for his name's sake, then that's a good place to be, honestly. But it don't feel that way when you're going through it. You know what I'm saying? But I've been like, at least today I was saying to myself, I need to challenge myself to like keep my mind on that this is like all things work together for the good of those that love God.
Yeah.
And so, it's just so that's been one of my struggles because again, when you got different things happening different way, like even yesterday, I get ready to go to work flat tire. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, it's just one of those things where it's like I just know something's trying to stop me from doing whatever it is that I'm currently doing, and
Yeah.
I can't let it. You know what I'm saying? I can't let the distractions and all those things win at the end of the day. Obviously, I'm making some type of impact more than I think that I know, and so I need to just keep going and keep like it's just staying consistent and stuff. So that's what I've received thus far. But I don't know. Like maybe you got to work too for wisdom for me right now. But
I don't know, but it's just like when I think back about my life with where it was all constantly pleasure seeking. The biggest
mm,
difference I've seen in my life between a pleasure seeking life and now living a purposeful life, and it's not because I'm a saint or anything.
yeah.
To me personally, also, if I'm just being like talking honestly, the
Mm-hmm.
economics of happy feeling that I
Mm,
feel, like if I just measure those two up, if I even approach it as an addict, the life I live now gives a sweeter high than the life I used to live before. It's a feeling
mm-hmm.
of content, of being content, content. Yeah, but
Yeah.
my point is that inconvenience factor. That's what I call it, or my mentor actually calls it, and I call it. But
Mm-hmm.
how you react in those areas, in those scenarios, really tells you a lot about yourself, and you wouldn't believe how nasty I can get from
Mm-hmm.
just like something benign, something so ridiculous. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing I know that has worked for me, I don't know how it is in a female body, but I know how it is in a male body, and that's just that's just like you have certain things in your day that just needs to be done,
Mm.
right? And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that is because those things are the most important things. Because when you, because though, like let's say you have a goal, okay, then you need to have a visual construct in your day that's aligned towards that goal. And I would prescribe for anyone, one of those habits is to heal the body, strengthen the body, put oxygen through it. All right. But then you
Mm.
also have some other habits, 2 or 3 a day. Good. These habits should be your only focus,
Mm.
your first priority before your boss, before paying bills. That's what you wake up and live for. Because when
Mm.
you do that, you feel like you win. And any other inconvenience that you, because then you win every day because you
Mm.
accomplish that every day. It's not about the end goal.
Yeah.
So when you do that, on top of that, you get a positive reinforcement of the new character you're building and that you're
Mm.
stepping into, new identity. But any inconvenience factor, any fatal death, any horrible accident, anything,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it sounds messed up from my side, but it's just like, yes, that is life. That is merely a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still grounded to my mission.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not saying that you won't be like annoyed of stuff, but it's just like it doesn't get to fill up too much of your cup because your cup is already displaced on certain things that is aligned with the higher
Yeah.
goal. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. And that's how I feel about the juice, for example. Like, because again, it's this thing that I'm like, I'm pretty much doing for free online. And brings me so much fulfillment to do it where I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, Lord, I didn't know that this was all I needed. You know what I mean? In regards to, I guess, making sure I'm taking intentional time with God, every day.
yeah.
And and I know that over the years it had been on my heart and mind to do, and it'd be like in the back of my mind, and I think like, oh, I just read the Bible verse of the day. Okay, cool, I did it. But then no, I'm like, I really have seen again the impact that it's had on my life and then on everything that I've been doing and stuff. And so like even yesterday I was having a conversation with someone. They're like, you're doing all these things. It's just amazing. You're doing all these things. And I'm like, well, to me, they're all like one, not say one thing, but they're all kind of combined in a way.
Yeah,
So that's one thing. And
yeah.
then
They're
two,
all
it's
one
like
thing.
a lot of times it was just dreams and goals and ideas. And then now, yeah, I might be living it and stuff, but I just have to, for me, I give that glory and honor to the Lord because I know when I was trying to do things on my own, I would get easily distracted. I'd be like, oh, there's no one watching, there's no
Mm,
one commenting, there's no one, whatever,
mm,
whatever. And now I'm at the point where I'm
yeah,
like, I'm gonna be consistent. It don't matter if there's
yeah.
one person watching, it don't matter if I got one subscriber, I'm gonna just keep going and doing. And I just seen like I feel like the amazing thing for me, I see the growth, but it's in a different capacity. Like some
Yeah.
people think about it as followers and stuff. For me, I think the fact that we hit over 1,000 videos on the channel is a huge accomplishment because I just can remember those days when I was just doing stuff on my own. I might have did like 12 videos and I got discouraged and I
Yep.
stopped. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Now
Yep.
because of the being like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going. It don't matter how many it, and just letting
Exactly.
God just lead me and keep doing it. Thousands of videos on just GSL channel alone, thousands of videos just for the juice alone. Like,
Yep.
and I just like, this is the Lord at the end of the day. It was like what the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread to me. But
No, but you're so
yeah,
right. This is literally we're 100% agreeing here. It's about you have a purpose, right? You have a purpose that you live for. And then you have a it's not about the outcome. It's a process of devotion. So
mm,
what you win from is your devotion, and the devotion
mm,
happens every day. So like it don't
yeah,
matter if you're not watching.
yeah,
I'm winning here. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like, and
yes,
here's the beautiful thing. Something I learned from my mentors. Like instead of thinking about me and mine needs to be taken care of before I can
mm,
take care of others. And this
mm-hmm,
guy comes from a man who's making $2 to $3 million a month cash,
mm,
right? He says you have to flip it around. You have to
mm,
think, I have to help and impact thousands of people. And then minds will be taken care of. And I'm not
mm,
there where I can say I have that much of a track record, but I'm
mm,
experiencing this in real time, the power
mm,
of faith in the sense
mm,
of just that. And The devotion is I'm gonna wake up 4 a.m. I'm gonna do my burpees. I'm gonna do my workout. I'm gonna follow my blueprint posting schedule that my mentor
Mm-hmm.
told me to do. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about these things. I'm gonna preach. I'm gonna preach. I'm gonna preach. People gonna call me weird things. People gonna say that. Some people say
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Blah blah. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna do this. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do that, you truly become unstoppable
Yes.
because you're not result oriented anymore. And you
Right.
see it also in fitness, people that are result oriented. Oh, I want to get a six pack. And then they go, that willpower doesn't last for long.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
the one who merely just is there and finds his victory in that show up for that workout, doing it and loves that process in itself, he's unstoppable because he wins every time. He gets a positive
Mm.
reinforcement every time he steps in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm sitting here wondering, like, how can we pour that out into other people? 'Cause I've been trying my best to do that, but then I'm not saying I'm being frustrated by them or nothing like that, because I know we all go on our own journeys and stuff. But I think for me, it's been hard. Like I told you before, like I feel like, wow, did I lose you?
Mm.
Oh, see the enemy. You see how the enemy be trying to, Anywho, when stuff get real good, then stuff start looking
No, no, I
good.
was there. It was a second. But you say like, how do we reach the people, right?
Yeah, because it's like you try to pour in, like I've been trying to pour into individuals. Obviously, I pointed it to whoever watches on, again, when you pour out on the internet, then it goes everywhere. And so you never know the impact. But especially when it comes to individual people, like friends or family, I'm like, you see my life, you see what God has done. Like, I'm trying to let you know, like, all you got to do is this. Like, all you got to do is just this. We just sit here and talk about this whole time. Like,
Yeah,
but people just don't, like, they say they want to, but then they don't do it. And then it's like, just do it. Just make the first step. Just try.
yeah.
Like,
I know.
it can be like,
I
oh,
recognize the frustration. I recognize the frustration 100%. But I think there's two aspects to it. Like my mentor, he has gone on a financial path of really flashing all the materialistic stuff, the
mm,
cars, the houses, whatever. And even he's like he says like I found more peace in a jail cell, isolation jail cell, just
mm,
by beating my ass over and over again with the hardest workouts I could
mm,
fathom, right? And but he says, but it's part of his journey. He realized, oh, the way to preach the message is to lure people in with what they think they want,
hmm,
or then to realize that none of that shit matters, and what really matters is the power of sticking to your word and being on a program of constant elevation.
mm,
So I don't know,
okay.
to your point, I don't know if there's something in your awareness you have the answers yourself, but if you say,
Mm,
okay, well, is there some, I do that, I constantly do that with my stuff. I'm like, okay, this looks cool. I'm like, okay, well, I can see in the metrics on views and whatnot, I can see engagement. Okay, well, what can I do better? Can my
mm,
video quality increase? I go down even to the point of the clothes that I wear. Can
mm,
I just bought some clothes today for just for working out, just to
mm-hmm,
appear, So you're making a more and more attractive package. I mean, I
mm,
don't know. That's the only way I can think about it. It's like, okay, I
yeah,
need to grow and elevate. And I do 30 DMs a day where I reach out to people and talk to them every day.
mm,
Every day.
wow.
I actively just hit motherfuckers up. Say, sup, big dog. Some people like, who are you? And others are like, yo, what's up? And then I look at their page and like, all right, looks cool car, or oh, I see you're Dominican, or I see you're from the US, or okay. And before I know it, I'm having a full-blown conversation. The person
Mm,
is like, yeah, I'm trying to save up for a car. Then we talk a little bit about control and self-impulse, but like what's it called? Impulse control. But what I've learned is I don't just try to like go into like, you should get my program. No, I just like, get my program, bro. It's gonna change your life. I just like, all right, let's talk. Some people, they confess and say like, man, I'm having a really shit time. Like, okay, cool. Because the beauty of it, and this is the way that my mentor taught me this, the beautiful way of building a personal brand, the real way, not the gimmicky way, is that you actually gotta talk to each and every one of the people that builds your brand.
Mm,
And it doesn't
mhm,
take 3 months, and it's not something you can buy some ads. You gotta do the work to
mm,
sit
mhm.
and talk and care and nurture and be a real person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think. Well, see, I guess my niche, if you would think of, if I think of this as niche, I guess like what I guess pour into the world is like my singleness journey, and that and that part of my life, and then the married side as well, which I know we can talk about all of that. And so, and again, so I, for example, talk to either people that are dating, or they want love, or they want marriage, or they want these things, but then they don't want, they do want the traditional way, but then they don't want it at the same time. And it's just been this whole thing where I'm like, well, Lord, I don't know, because this is what I did, and this is what got me to where I am. And
Mm.
so, I can't tell you anything else. I can't make up something and be like,
No,
oh, it was, the fairy
no,
godmother that made my
no,
life, So,
no. What
what's
what is
up?
your story and take with the whole marriage thing? What is it for you?
Well, I mean, so it's starting with marriage, or starting with like what my desire was, or like my
Yeah.
actual experience thus far. So my desire as a single woman, I just, well, GSL were things that I thought about all the time. And I was like, Lord, listen, I'm single. I'm not supposed to do this, that, and the other according to your word. So where's my husband? Like I was going on that whole journey and being like, where's my husband? I want to be married now, and I want sex now, and I want this, that. I was just going on and on. This is me in my 20s. And
Yeah.
so, and then at that point, I feel like that's where God kind of shifted my life to show me that, okay, so he basically, I feel like he started to answer the questions of like why I wasn't married yet, and what I needed to change about myself, and different things of that nature. And so I went on this journey of like, reading the Bible, doing the whole thing, challenging myself to read the whole thing. Also, I was going to the church, and so as I was doing that, I was also getting fit. And it was interesting, the dynamic between like I would be studying and just reading something at home, and then I would go to church, and then the pastor be talking about it. I'm like, what?
Mm.
How he,
Yeah.
he had no clue that I was reading this last night. And so all of that was kind of correlating into showing me like different areas and ways I needed to grow as an individual and stuff. And I believe I prepared probably the best I could as a single woman. But now that I'm married, it's like, there were certain things that I wasn't prepared for, of course, because you can't prepare for every single thing. But
No.
so now of course there's a different set of challenges as a married person, me and my husband and whatnot. But
How long have you guys been married?
yeah, so we are working on year 8 now. It was year 7 last
Wow.
year. So yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It's been a blessing. Like honestly, I enjoy married life and stuff like that. Again, there's a couple of things that I feel like, man, if we could just get these two things, then we would be good. Oh, but at the same time, I know we can't. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect, but I do feel like he's perfect for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I've been enjoying married life. I just want to make sure that I guess sometimes I think for me the challenge is like seeing things down the line, and I'm like, well, we need to work on this or that now, because it's going to become an issue at some point if we don't do something about it. And so, having
Mm.
those conversations and stuff, like maybe like you were telling, like you said, you had the tough conversation with your wife about
Yeah.
saying, you're going to do something and not doing it or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like having that love and grace, but at the same time, like holding accountable and saying, hey, it can be tough when
It's
you
such a
love
tricky
somebody.
balance. It's such a trick because
Yeah.
because you're sitting there, you don't know, am I making a mountain out of a mole thing, or
Yes.
am I actually really seeing like something that could be major? It
Right.
is
Because
tough.
I don't. Now, is your wife like this? Because it's like my husband don't have no issue with anything. He's fine with everything, apparently. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that I'm the only one bringing issues to the table. And I'm like, but I'm not trying to bring issues. I don't want things to become an issue. Like for me, I see it like you said earlier, it's like demons trying to come in. And if there's like this little crack of an issue,
Yeah.
and then it's going to try to become a big, huge issue. And so, so those things that are important to me. I try my best to
The
communicate and stuff, but
hundred
it's
percent.
really
I
tough.
mean, there's also maybe just an aspect of you maybe being a little neurotic with some shit, but also,
Mm,
you know, there's this great saying, what if the thought of what if comes from fear,
mm,
and the thought of even if, oh sorry if my computer went down,
okay.
the thought of even if comes from love. So that
Mm,
means that even if this happens,
mm-hmm,
I'll make a better story, or we will things will still be all right, and believing that it will. That is faith.
Mm,
That is straight up
yeah.
faith.
Yeah.
What whereas the other one, because I used to be a lot about what if, like trust me, like we're talking what if solar flares come, what if this? There's a reason why I now have Starlink and I have 6 months of food and I have water for 6 months, and then that's not even like now I just have it. I'm like okay, it's fine, but
Yeah.
that is what if, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I've come to more of just saying even if, and it makes
Mm,
you so much more relaxed, but it also makes you more brave and bold. And then also of
mm,
course it goes back to you have to learn how to be self-reliant and trust yourself. It comes that
mm,
it's real confidence to say even if, you
mm.
gotta, I don't know, like you gotta.
That's good. No, no, I totally received that. Definitely for sure. Like, because again, yeah, when those things try to come in your mind and then you start to think like you just said, the what ifs and whatnot, like, yeah, there definitely is power in saying, even if I'm gonna do my best
Yeah, is
to
that it? But have you heard that saying of Satan and his wedge of doubt? Where it's like I
mm,
think it's something where he talks about, like, I don't know if it's a real story
like
or whatever.
did he yeah, it's like did he really say? Yeah, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, or like it's the story of Satan showing off his greatest weapons against humanity. There's all
Mm,
these nasty things. It says, but one thing that I really got, I mean, this is the magic thing, is this over here, and there is just a wedge. It's the wedge of doubt. If I could just get a little crack in, I got him.
mm-hmm.
You know, and that
Yeah.
that also means to say, like, when those, like, 90% of everything that we fear doesn't even come true. And highly successful people don't operate with fear at all. They just
Mm,
go all in,
mm,
boom, go, because they have now figured out the architecture of everything. Every time I bet on myself, it goes right. And why are they
mm,
able to do that? Because they have proven to themselves time and time again. They stick to
mm,
their word, they do the work necessary, and it gives some type of reward. So they're willing to
good.
bet without a necessary outcome to happen. They just know, no, I'm good. I know the
Mm,
way that this whole thing goes. I don't need to focus too much on the outcome. I just know it's
mm.
going to fall back, you know?
Thank- Yeah, that's good. Thank you for that reminder. I appreciate
You're
that,
welcome. You're welcome.
man. So, I mean, I was going to ask you about like how is it living in paradise? I was going to ask you how you feel about marriage. I was going to
Yeah.
ask you some other stuff, but I mean, feel free at this point, like whatever you want to share with
Yep.
us and stuff. Yeah, yeah, like keep
Where we live.
pouring this wisdom.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, Philippines is an odd size. I don't. It's an acquired taste. It's the people are, they're very relaxed. There's no. It's like, let's say like this. You go to the supermarket. People, they drive in their big SUVs, AC. It's very hot outside. There's no sense of urgency with anything, and that can be a challenge for a guy like me who's just like, yo, let's.
Let's go.
I come from the north. I come from Denmark originally, so like everything there is just like streamlined. But where here it's just like da da da, and we chill a little bit here. There's no real, like, so that's definitely a
Urgency.
culture difference that I have to
Hmm.
feel out. But to me, I actually want us at a certain point to move out of Philippines. That is
Okay.
the goal, right? Maybe
Okay.
so. But with marriage and this thing that we got here, it's funny, you can give blessings to the toxic relations that came before, because those were the spiritual teachers that taught you how not
Mm,
how not to compromise on your boundaries and how not to do this, and
mm,
then you grow from that. Give praise to that, even though you don't
yeah,
want to talk to them.
yeah,
And then something really nice and sweet appears just the way you like it. I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
uh, I
I
think
get
that
that,
would be
and that's why I give my husband grace and stuff. Because at the end of the day, I know that like, yeah, I can't even imagine like what life would be married to somebody else. And again, I can't expect perfection. And so I feel like you said, am I making mountain out of molehills? Am I doing too much? But I guess again, when I'm like I said, I'm serious about the God, the sex, the
yeah.
love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so with those things being those big things in my heart and mind all the time, it's like if I see anything coming for those things, it's like we got to do something because this could be a big issue, and stuff.
Mhm.
And so it's been,
Do you
and then I
prescribe
guess,
yourself any type of fitness? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you prescribe
no,
yourself
no.
any type of, do
So
you do
I
you
was, and when I first started doing the juice, I was challenging myself to work out every day. And then at some point I was working with a like a coach or whatever, and we
right.
did this whole series on my channel and whatnot where, he was challenging me on another level with food as well as doing that. I kind of eased up on it. I was actually thinking about it earlier today, like should I start something else back up? But because my back's been hurting lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been thinking about it, but no, I haven't really done anything in a while since that challenge.
I think you need to do that. You need to connect and this is not to try to make it like a racial conversation, but of course you have an African descent, right? I'm not getting canceled for saying that, right?
Yeah,
But
no.
the your lineage physically is, I don't know if you know this, but if you go as a male and you go to a blood clinic, they literally have African men as the highest ones on the parameter of all the different races on planet Earth in terms
Mm,
of testosterone. For real.
okay.
It's
Wow.
like, yeah, body fat percentage wise, it's like it's ideal physical. Like
Mm,
what I'm saying is just like we have this body, we need to use it. It's like you're walking around with a Ferrari and you're treating
mm,
it like a Ford. If
wow.
you know what I mean? But
Gotcha.
if you, and I'm not saying you need to go and do an Ironman tomorrow. What I'm saying is if you have a protocol, what I've experienced, right? It's just the stronger you get physically and mentally. I've been saying this all week. The lesser you need and the more grateful you feel for like the
Mm,
smallest things. I've never
mm,
cried tears of joy. I've cried tears of joy 2 times the last month. Two
wow.
times. 2 times. Like it's fuck,
Wow.
just crying, just like
Right.
out of ordinary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact this is not something I could have thought my way into. It's because I'm doing a therapy with the body on a continuous
Mm,
basis that alleviates what it does. It alleviates yourself with all that worry and all that stuff so that authentic self can be more out there, and then
mm,
I don't know, it's just like, and then when you start looking around in your life, when you've done 128 burpees, you look around in your life, you're like, fuck, this is amazing. And imagine feeling that on a like feeling that multiple times a day. Imagine that. You know what I mean? You do when you have sex, it's kind of a cardio session. How do you feel afterwards? You feel the same. Like you don't need much, right? You don't need much. You just
right.
need to be there with your loved one. If there's a fan going, great. Like
Yeah.
if the dog just leaves us alone or just cuddles up and down at the end of the bed, great. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. Look, we got to get you come back over here and share about
Yeah.
little ways to work out.
Yeah, well, but love, you can follow me on IG. I'll gladly prescribe you a little workout you could do at home for sure. And then you build on it. That's the point. Like understand and respect the power of momentum. Even though you have a body that is like a freaking Ferrari, can be a Ferrari, you have to take it in gradual steps. And you also have to, I would advise, that's what I do with my clients, that first you sit down and you make an outline of the identity that you need to become,
Mm,
because it's not about like what you want, it's about who you need to become, because
mm,
that who will have the things that you want.
mm,
So
mm,
you need to outline all your weaknesses, all the things. For instance, for me it was I don't stick by my word. So what did I
mm.
write as my first new statement of this new person?
Thinking right
Nuhr
word.
holds, yeah, Nuhr holds his word to himself to such a degree. And then I have two big mentors. One of them I work with now, but I've not reached that point yet. That these two people, when they hear about me, they say, "Oh, that fucking guy, yeah, he gets shit done. Like if he says something's gonna happen, then that happens." That's a desire for me. I wanted to become that, and that was opposite of me. You see what I mean?
Mm,
And
mm-hmm,
then for
mm-hmm,
30 days, I would wake up early, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., all in my own, would read this book, The Daily Stoic, just a page of it, put some reflection in, and then go back to the same Google document and just write out, have your coffee, just write out a bunch of thoughts, who this new you are, who is. What kind of clothes does this person wear? How does it, like, there's a reason why I'm most of the time shaved in like this and I wear these chains, because it's like, it's a construct I've made to show up neat, because I used to not be neat. My nails, I like for them to be cut because I used to not, you see what I mean? I realized that it was a hole, and you got to construct that person and step into that person as soon as possible. Like, do whatever you can. If you need to buy some new clothes, do that. You're building a new identity today, not tomorrow, not Monday, not next year, today. And then that person has some habits, and those are your goals every day. I gotta do my 10 sissy push-ups. I gotta do my 20, but make it to the point where it's like, okay, it's a little tough, but not crushing you. And then if you do it in a smaller amount, like say, okay, 15 minutes, I'm gonna do 15 minutes of it. You'll start to notice, oh, I want to go 5 minutes more. I could do more. I could do more. All right. Then you add on, okay, I've done a month of training. Wow, but I'm so frustrated. I'm still the same weight. You got to get your macros in. Now you see it's a personal need for you because you're so invested in this new identity of you. So it's not like, oh, it's so hard to weigh. No, it's like, no, I need to fucking weigh my food because that's this identity's wish. And the deepest human need in psychology is to be consistent with one's own self-image. You see what I mean? So my self-image used to be some type of savant, rock star dipshit, right? Fuckface, who thought he was so cool drinking beers and be like, I have all this potential, but I like to just drink. That was literally my self-image. So of course I stayed consistent with that. Then I changed my self-image and realized that's not fucking cool. This is cool. Sticking to your word. Waking up early. Not drinking. Not snorting stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Doing things even though I don't want to. I put it in as my identity. That is what this person thinks is cool. And Lord and behold, whatever you say, what happens when you step into it daily? You feel like, oh, I'm becoming this guy. Like I'm living this shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Man, well, listen. If anybody needs to reach out to you and tap into you and your endeavors, where would they need to go?
Here, King Hermes Fit on IG. Just holla at me. Yeah.
Okay. And is there anything else you want to share with us before you go?
Just the only thing I think that's really standing in our own ways, all of us, is our own self. But we very fortunately we have the answers, all of our answers we have inside of ourselves. We just need to do some fucking burpees just to get a little bit of clarity in our mind so we can actually hear that voice and distinguish between all the different voices that's going on at the same time. That call from within, some people call it that. Some people call it higher self. Some people call it God. I like to call it God. So, whatever face he has to you, that's your thing. But I mean, you as people listening. But that call from within, if you follow it and you take that leap of faith without an expectancy of reward, that's very important. You got to take that step and don't expect anything. Just be humble that high divine creation even wants you, right? Just be thankful for that because it does want you, but come with some respect, come with some humility, take that leap forward and don't be entitled. Don't be entitled. Just walk. You do that and you will see your life transform. It did for me. And so
yeah, look, me too, bro. Me too. I like that, man.
So nice to connect with you.
Yes, it was nice talking to you too. You're welcome back anytime. And
love it.
Yeah, until next time, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching the GSL Talk Show, and thank you for Brother Hermes joining us tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check out Brother Hermes' endeavors. And yeah, have a good night.